Okay, let's go. My name is Adriano Lima. I'm from Brazil, from Federal University of Sergipe. And my study group is composed by Methanias, Rogério, and Francisco Neto. We are talking about the digital business transformation methodologies, a quasi-systematic review of literature. It's a research working about methodologies that are related to digital transformation. This is our schedule. We are talking about the problems and the solution. Talk a little bit about introduction, this research methodology, discuss the data analysis and interpretation, and the conclusion. Talking about the problem, we work for objective question to describe the problem. And the first one is the globalized world and the use of disruptive technology a prerequisite for the survival of the companies, thinking in the way that the companies nowadays have to use the technology to be alive. And has the second question, has the need for digital transformation being accelerated by the pandemic of the new coronavirus, to understand if the pandemic improve the digital transformation of the companies. Is this transformation take care of privacy of the personal data used in company process? Because the regulation laws about the personal data and protection, it's very important nowadays. And are the methodologies that can be replicated to accelerate the digital transformation in another companies and another context. This is the problem that we are analyzing. And for the solution, we develop a quite systematic review of the literature. The research consider the articles by from the year 2011 to 2021. We found 127 studies, and only 12 were considered relevant after the quality filters. The results show that the number of work related to digital transformation are still very small in the period of the research. They start to grow in 2017. We analyzed that the COVID-19 was one of the main reasons to driving the digital transformation. We will show this in the results. And we detected that there was few articles refer to adequacy to requirements of the privacy laws. Let's go to the introduction. The point here is to understand what is the digital transformation, only to synchronize everyone. The digital transformation is reshaping competition and many well-established industry. I think every company that is not using the digital transformation, it's worried about the becoming obsolete. So so many companies that disappear because they don't use the digital transformation. For us, the digital transformation is directly linked to the business model innovation, because transform digitally a company is not only transform the processes that are analogic to digital. We have to create new opportunities to reduce the cost, increase profits, and increase the quality of products and services developing using the technology. So the technology, it's a means, not an end. The research methodology, we use the systematic literature mapping according to Peterson, and this methodology is divided in four parts: research question, search and selection the relevant stories, extracting data and map the results. Which was we create four questions. Each question is important to define the results of the select articles. The first question, what's the growth of stories on digital transformation methodology in last 10 years? To analyze the growth of the STEM during this period. The second question, which countries have contributed the most to stories on digital transformation methodology? The third question, where is the study driven to the context of COVID pandemic? And the last question, what studies are oriented to data privacy laws such as GDPR in Europe and LGPD, it's a Brazilian regulation about data protection. Here's the keyword that we used in this research. We use words related to the business transformation, digital transformation. We put some related to team manager, squad manager, because we want to analyze how this methodology treats the people inside the companies. And we use the agility tool to describe if the methodologies are traditional methodologies or agile methodologies. This is important for the context of the research. The research was carried out in April 2021, and as we said before, we use 107 articles. Here's the databases, the data sources that we used to find the articles. The Science Directory and the Scopus is the base that has more articles found. The select criteria to select the articles, stories with more than 10 years of publication have been discarded. Studies that are not directly associated with the research question, duplicated text. Studies not made in available full free download were excluded. We consider only Portuguese and English, like a language. And the article proposed methodologies or framework aimed at digital transformations and related to business transformation were considered. This is the focus of our research. This is the results. A lot of articles was rejected by our criteria. And at the end, 30 articles were selected to make up the stories. Consider the 30 articles. We use a filter that to select the better articles. These main articles were submitted to a quality criteria where we create 4 objective questions to apply, where if question represents a score, if you are related to our criteria, we represent 1 point. If you are partially related to our criteria, we represent 0.5 points. If the article has no relationship with our research, we represent 0 points. This is a method created to filter articles that presents only methodologies and no another. To filter the quality, we create 4 questions. The first question, did the study prove the validity of the results obtained statistically? For us, it's very important to use the statistical method to comprove the results, to see the results in a practical environment, in a theoretical environment. Did the study create a new digital transformation methodology? We are searching for new methodologies that can be replicated in another environment. It's the third question. Did the study structure the methodology so that it's replicable? So we found some methodologies that are not replicated in another environment. So this is a filter. And did the study show the results of an application and a methodology in a real environment? So we analyze if the methodology was applied in a real environment using a case study to trust in their results. This is the final results of the selection criteria. And we found 12 articles that accept our criteria to after the filter. So let's discuss the results. The first question, what is the growth of stories of digital transformation methodology in last 10 years? We notice that the growth of the studies based on the selected articles, we consider that from 2011 to 2016, there were no publications accepted by the criteria determined. Only from 2011, articles began to be published, with exception of 2019. It's important to remember that in 2021, we use only 4 months for researches, and the number of articles found are the same 2020. So I think it's an important point to analyze that from 2021, the number of articles will be bigger than the other months. The second question, which countries have contributed the most to studies on digital transformation methodology? We can see that the CZEC Republic and Germany has 2 articles, and we have a big diversity because 8 countries have 1 article too related to this theme. While the study is driven from the context of COVID-19 pandemic, this is a very important point of the research. If we only analyze this graphic, we see that from the 12 articles analyzed, only 3 have a relationship with are impulsed with the COVID pandemic. But if we put together this result with the number of the articles per year, we can see that in 6 articles published between 2020 and 2021, 3 were motivated by the COVID, which can be conducted that the pandemic is a great importance for the results obtained in recent years. So we have a big number of articles started in 2021. Unhappily, the research don't collect all the results of the 2021, but this can be a new strategy for this research. What studies are oriented to data privacy laws such as GDPR or LGPD? We can see only 25% mention data protection in your publishing. It's an important point because in that time, the GDPR in Europe and the LGPD in Brazil are in focus, are very important in that moment. Analyze the threats to validity. We consider 2 threats. The first one is the date of the search, because it was performed before the end of the first semester in 2021. So we have a few months after the start of the pandemic. So I'm very sure that after that, so many articles was created. And the external factor, it's the pandemic period. The research was made during the pandemic, so the results are affected by this problem, this word problem. For the conclusion, as we can see, the student analyze how the world reacted to adapt to the digital transformation in the last 10 years, using the systematic mapping of literature. The speech presents a possible interest on the subject only in recent years, considering from 2017, the expectation is that the new few years will be increasing. So I think if we can research now, the numbers will be bigger than we encountered in the past. Germany and Czech Republic were the two countries that most published, and it could be observed a great influence of COVID in the results of the study, represent 50% of the articles in the last 2 years, considering only 4 months in 2021. And 25% of the articles approach the theme GDPR or LGPD. I think this is a very interesting study to help academics and entrepreneurs to seek information and support involving methodologies of digital transformation. I think it's very interesting to read the select methodology. If anyone can access these articles, can send a message to share. And I think if we change the inclusion and exclusion criteria, we can find interesting articles because for this research we are focused on methodology. So if we put another filter, we can find the interesting article about digital transformation methodology. Here's some reference and my contacts for necessities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for interesting literature review on digital transformation. And please, one question. We have time for one question. And Jarosław, I see, yes?
I will try to ask short two questions, if possible. First questions deals with the title. I have an exact question. Why did you name your research quasi-systematic? As you used, I think, Peterson systematic literature set protocol. For me, it's clear literature review, so that mustn't be quasi. Most important is the second question. Let's say the first it was remark. The second question deals with the main goal of the study. I have no answer what methodology, digital transformation methodology are used. I have a lot of information from you about the geographic distribution and so on, but which methodology are used, why, they are most important research question, and in my humble opinion, it could be a good research avenue for the future. Thank you.
Okay, we use the quasi word to represent the deep of the analysis of the articles. I think we found so many articles and we need, I think, a lot of time to analyze in details which article that we found. So because this, we named quasi-systematic review.
Okay, thank you. What about the second question about the methodology itself? Which are the name? Which are where are they used? By whom? Where? And so on, so on. That's let's say it's remark future works direction for you. Thank you.
Yes, this work was made because we are started to understand the market, the gaps in the market. To create our methodology. So as we analyze the articles, we create a methodology. We are creating this methodology is ready, and we are using these methodologies in our clients, and this will be our next publication. I think we are preparing the material to be the next publication. Presents a methodology that try to resolve all gaps that we found in the articles analyzed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And some questions? Are there some questions more? Mariusz Grabowski, przepraszam.
Okay, thank you. I wonder because I saw that the countries that they contributed much to the digital transformation. I am really curious why there are no United States, neither Great Britain, for instance. And there were a lot of work done in that, maybe not about the methodology, but generally about the digital business. For instance, work by Peter Whale and Werner from 2019 about what's your digital business model from MIT, from Sloan School of Management. So this is my question, and one, why there are not such countries, and maybe there is a problem with relevance of the search. And the second question, or maybe remark, because usually the paper needs a certain time to be published. So even searching for the papers from 1920, maybe these are not the papers that they have this label of COVID related, because usually it needs some time. So these are just my two remarks that I would like to share.
I think the problem was the filter used in the query, because when we prepared the query to search the article, we found a lot of articles that are not directly related to create a methodology that can be replicated in another environment. So we can prepare the filter to encounter few articles directly related to our research. I think this can be cause some type of problem with some countries during the research.
Oh, thank you very